Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's explainer on biological blueprints, where we're going to explore nature's engineering that completely defies logic. You know, when we think of engineering, our minds instantly go straight to steel beams, intricate circuit boards, and massive industrial factories, right? We naturally think of human hands building complex machines. But what if I told you the most sophisticated, literally logic-defying engineering on the planet isn't found in a sterile lab or a mega factory, but just out in the wild? Today, we're going to look at the ultimate master engineer, nature. We're unpacking some source material that reveals how certain biological blueprints completely shatter what we consider logically possible. So get ready, because we're not looking at biology as just messy organic matter today. No, we're looking at highly advanced, highly structured mechanical systems that honestly put our absolute greatest technological achievements to shame.
So, Type 4 biological entities. I mean, it sounds exactly like a top-secret heading you'd stumble across in some classified sci-fi dossier, doesn't it? But we aren't talking about science fiction here, not at all. We are talking about real-life organisms possessing logic-defying, highly advanced survival superpowers. In our source material, standard human-made technology actually gets categorized at much lower levels. That makes these Type 4 entities a completely different class of capability altogether. When we really look at them, the line between living biology and advanced machinery just blurs completely. We're no longer just looking at animals, folks. We're analyzing self-sustaining, self-repairing hardware. Hardware that operates under extreme parameters that would instantly vaporize standard biological life frames.
And just look at the raw capabilities on this superpower roster. We are literally talking about organisms surviving being completely frozen solid. Creatures just living without a single drop of water for years on end. Biological systems completely regenerating entire lost limbs from scratch. Bam, 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 hit after hit. Nature's just showing off extremophile traits that totally shatter our everyday understanding of life and death. It's a real game changer. This is a super broad look at what is biologically possible, and every single one of these logic-defying traits is absolutely real, fully functioning, and frankly, crawling around on our planet right now. But, you know, to really grasp how this organic hardware works, we need to zoom in from this massive roster and focus on one specific case study.
But, okay, let's pump the brakes for a second. It's really not enough to just rattle off these superpowers and marvel at nature like it's a magic trick. To truly understand extremophile biology, we have to examine the actual mechanics. How does a living, breathing organism pull off the impossible without completely breaking the fundamental laws of physics? Let's move to the next piece of the puzzle and see how this builds, putting one of these systems right under the microscope.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the exact biological sequence of events for the wood frog phenomenon. It is just staggering. Okay, step 1, the blood freezes completely solid within the body. Step 2, destructive ice crystals literally form internally. Now, for any normal biological entity, including us, an internal ice crystal is an absolute death sentence. The sharp, jagged edges of the ice act like microscopic knives that just shred cellular walls to pieces. But here's step 3. The cells are biologically shielded from shredding. How? The wood frog survives by flooding its system with massive amounts of glucose. This acts as a highly potent natural antifreeze that perfectly shields its delicate microscopic structures from being destroyed by the ice. It chemically alters its own physical state, operating flawlessly while practically turning into an ice cube.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we mean when we call nature the ultimate engineer. Think about it as a side-by-side comparison. On side A, you've got the wood frog's organic, biological cellular shielding actively blocking destructive microscopic ice particles. On side B, you have the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, a massive military installation and its specialized particle air filters. The complex uses these heavy-duty, highly engineered industrial filters to block out microscopic destructive particles from entering the facility. The wood frog is doing the exact same thing. It's utilizing the exact same physics, but on a microscopic biological scale right inside its own veins. It is quite literally a living, breathing, self-replicating version of a military-grade defense system.
So the crucial point is what happens when we zoom out and really confront the reality of human engineering. When we put nature's pre-engineered solutions right next to our own technological limitations, the contrast is, well, it's stark. I mean, we spend billions of dollars, decades of research, and rely on our absolute brightest minds to build complex facilities like Cheyenne Mountain, all just to mimic a defense mechanism that a tiny amphibian uses naturally every single winter. And it's not just the frog. It's the flawless limb regeneration of the axolotl, or the tardigrade surviving complete dehydration for years on end. We love to consider ourselves technologically advanced, but let's be honest, we are effectively just trying to reverse engineer the biological blueprints that nature perfected millions of years ago.
Which brings us to an incredibly powerful insight directly from our source material. Nature has already engineered solutions to problems that human Type 1 technology is still trying to solve. Wow, that perfectly cements our entire analysis today. We are out here operating with what the text calls Type 1 technology, our steel, our microchips, our big industrial filters. Meanwhile, these Type 4 biological entities are walking around with integrated hardware that seamlessly overcomes the most hostile environments imaginable. The blueprints for ultimate technological supremacy aren't locked in a vault, they're literally written in the DNA of extremophiles.
So this leaves us staring at a massive, provocative question to wrap up today's explainer. When will human engineering finally catch up to nature's blueprints? Think about it. If a frog can organically engineer a way to survive its own blood freezing solid, and other organisms can perfectly regenerate lost limbs or just live for years without a drop of water, what happens when we finally figure out how to perfectly adapt that technology for ourselves? The possibilities are endless. Next time you step outside, I invite you to stop looking at the natural world as just a collection of plants and animals. Instead, try looking at it as an incredibly advanced, highly classified technological roadmap. Thanks for focusing in with me today, and keep questioning the mechanics of the world around you.